Tim Dillon and Louis J. Gomez are doing a podcast on Saturday. Apparently, they're just going to smash Brendan Schaub. But Tim Dillon has dropped an exclusive on his Patreon where he smashes Brendan Schaub even before that's going to drop. So I'm going to play this, react to it, and give you my thoughts on it. But apparently, this podcast that's going to drop tomorrow with him and Louis J. Gomez is going to make not only Brendan Schaub mad, but the entire LA comedy scene. But let's see what Tim Dillon had to say about Brendan Schaub's special.
Recorded with Luis Gomez today. Fun episode. Do you think people will get angry?
I think people are going to love it.
Yeah, but what?
But do I think the LA comedy scene will be mad? Is that your question?
Yes.
Perhaps.
Why? Why?
Some things were just said about the LA comedy scene. You and Louis don't bullshit when it comes to that stuff.
Well, I mean, listen. Everybody can hate everybody and love everybody, and that's what that is, right? I mean, I think the good thing about the episode is, we can't listen. We can't pretend that the Gringo Papi is a good comedy special, right? Like, I like Brendan as a person. People get mad at me. They're like, "You're sitting on the fence." I'm like, I'm not sitting on the fence on that fact. Yeah, it does not bring the pain. But Brendan's trying to be a comedian. I don't know why. I don't know why a guy who's an Adonis who could just fuck women and kill men would want to live the life of the fucking jester. And, me and Louis kind of talk about that. And again, it's just, it's puzzling to me, right? Does he love comedy? Does Brendan genuinely love comedy?
I don't think so. He doesn't seem like a guy that grew up listening
what
to
if I tried to be a model? What if I tried to be a model? Like, what if the biggest model in the world was my friend and said I should model? And then I started modeling. And then the other models were like, "Why are you modeling?" And I'm like, "Well, people like when I model." And they go, "Okay, but it's not really modeling." And I'm like, "What do you mean?" They're like, "Well, it's just, you're not like a model. Like, did you always want to be a model?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I've always loved models." They go, "Yeah, but that's a little different, right? Did you always, what about you would want to be a model?" And I'm just like, "Well, I'm just eating like nachos." And I go, "Well, I'm trying to be a model and it's hard." And it's like, it's kind of that where it's like, it's an interesting thing. But since Rogan left, LA podcast, the podcast scene here has kind of collapsed. And what are you going to do, right? We're not going to spend the whole episode talking about this because it doesn't affect anyone and it's kind of silly. I just hope nobody's offended. That's all, because we're never trying to offend anyone.
We don't dislike anyone.
No, but no, you know what? No one cares about that. I say that all the time too. We don't dislike anyone. We also don't like anyone. So, and you know what I mean? Like, this whole idea of I don't dislike people, it doesn't mean anything.
Sure.
And I say that too. It's not your fault. Yeah. You're parroting kind of the thing I say all the time, where I go, we don't like anyone, but no one cares. Nobody cares. Like, I'm like, we don't dislike anyone. That's not comforting. You know what I mean? To anyone. That no one cares. That's not like a qualifier that matters to anybody. When you go, "Yeah, I don't dislike anyone." I don't really like anyone either. They're all, we're all just in our own lane driving down a highway, watching other, people and seeing what else it is. But listen, a lot of people don't like stand-up. People don't like my stand-up. My special's coming out. People are going to go, "I don't like that." It's fine. It is what it is, I mean, what are you going to do? There's not much, that you can do about that. I think far too many people are, LA, somebody brought up a good point to me. They go, the LA podcast seems it's become a bad reality show that nobody cares about. And that's why, people are losing interest in it, I think, rapidly. So that's why what we try to do is different, and hopefully the shit we talk about affects people in a positive way, in a sense that it makes them happy or laugh. And, because we're not like, I'm not invested in this scene at all. I don't care if we do this show from Florida. I don't care if we do it from Texas. I don't care if we do it from New York. I don't feel like I even live here. I came here from New York. I've been an outsider. None of these people showed me any respect until Rogan had me on. It's a fact. None of them looked at me in the eye or talked to me except Bird. Bird had me on
Bird
before the
did.
show.
Yeah.
Bird had me on, but he thought I was Fortune Feimster, but it still counts. But yeah, so I mean, it's not. Again, I'll repeat the meaningless horseshit. I don't dislike it. But yeah, this is all just what it is, right? I mean, let's not romanticize this and make this into something that it isn't. We're all just kind of out here. But this ain't nothing. This ain't a community. This is not a scene, even though I use the word scene because there's no other word.
Mm-hmm.
This is a loose association of people that don't care about each other and frankly like to watch each other crash and burn. That's really what it is. People who get a lot of pleasure out of watching watching their lives become unmanageable. That's really what it is. It's not at all any type of family or there's very little camaraderie. Nobody hangs out with each other. People barely know each other. And that's what kind of shocked me when I came out here. In New York, people hang out with each other. They talk to each other. They go over each other's houses for barbecues. Here you come out and you realize that nobody really does anything with each other. Nobody sees each other outside of being on the show. Mm-hmm. That's it. So, I mean, hopefully the episode doesn't anger anybody. I don't think it's that bad. I think it's funny. That's all it is. We're having a goof. I don't dislike anybody. What a fun, meaningless thing.
It really is, yeah.
I don't dislike anybody. I don't dislike anyone. But people, we can't pretend that the gringo papi was a great piece of art. The name of the special is insane. And we can't pretend. And it doesn't mean that, that maybe the next one isn't a great piece of art. It may be indicative of that. But, it may be, it's like a credit report where you go, well, are you going to pay Amex back next time? Because this time you didn't. But people are going to do what they want to do. But we all just have to, people listen to our show because they think they think it's funny. And they think it's funny because we say things that are not always right, but they're how I feel in the moment. And some of them are clearly jokes. And some of them are things where I'm exploring it and going, you know what? Yeah, I do think something. It is weird that everybody at Twitter happens to be non-binary. It is odd to me. It's not, that's why people listen. They don't listen because, I'm on like a team and I'm like out there like, and by the way, anybody who thinks Rogan cares about this, Rogan cares about nothing. So the idea that you think he cares about this or he's like telling people not to criticize Brandon, I love Joe. He's the reason I have a career really outside of Ben and myself, but he doesn't care about anything. Truly. He's doing his own thing and he's done quite well doing it. This guy's not monitoring any particular situation. But that's all that really has to be said about that, the episode.
So, this is my take on it. And it's very interesting. He brought up the Joe Rogan thing, that Joe Rogan isn't monitoring and saying not to trash Brendan Schaub. But all of a sudden now everybody's trashing Brendan Schaub. Him and Louis J. Gomez are going to do this podcast that's going to drop on Saturday. Just smashing them. We got the Leak Dan Soder thing. I think when it came to light, when Brendan Schaub went on Tiger Belly, that they threatened his career, Brendan Schaub and Brian Callen, by using Rogan. I bet you Rogan, when he heard that, was like, this guy's going around threatening people using my name? Because, like I said in a video before, this is the first time we've heard about it. It's not the first time it's been done. He's obviously has thrown around Rogan's name. Like, he probably has it's been just used because everyone just knew that guy's been on Joe Rogan more than anybody else, and he's Rogan's friend. So we better not say anything bad or give him something that he wants. But he threatened Bobby Lee with Rogan's name. Probably not the first time, but now everybody knows it. And he admitted to it. You know, on the podcast we saw, Kalila read his text, and his response was, mm-hmm, mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So, like, Rogan is probably just like, okay, I might be done with this guy. I don't care. I had him on to promote the Gringo Papi. That bombed. Not even at 1 million views. Massively disliked. And now this guy is starting beefs with other comedians and using my name in threats. That, ooh. And as he was talking about the whole LA comedy scene, like, he's talking about Brendan Schaub, D'Elia, and Callen. It's over. It was over the day D'Elia and Callen got accused. And they've never recovered. Brendan Schaub does not make money doing this. He did when he worked he had the Showtime gig. They did that commercial deal with the guys who were technically running the podcast. That's why they had to get rid of Callen for a while. But now, Brendan owns it all. And if he was just a regular YouTuber like me, just him in his house making videos or doing a podcast, he'd be making decent money. But he has a staff, he pays for studio, he pays salaries. It's all a net loss. He's not getting enough views or selling enough merch or anything to even break even on this. And that's why he's so angry. And we knew from the Bobby Lee thing, he's spending $500,000 to go after any comedian or YouTuber because he knows it's over, but he's got daddy's money to throw around. So this is his violent way of going out. He's like, no, I'm going to go out swinging. I'm not just going to become irrelevant. I'm going to become irrelevant, but try and drag as many people down with me. And I'm going to leave this bitter and angry and everything. And you know what? I'm going to make everyone hates me anyway. I'm going to make them hate me by threatening lawsuits and threatening their careers with Rogan and stuff. But I love that the gloves are off and everyone's just trashing them. And I can't wait to hear this podcast that's going to drop on Saturday with Louis J. Gomez and Tim Dillon. But let me know your thoughts in the comments.